Hello, my name is Tony, and I'm from Washington, D.C. This incident is, without a doubt, the most terrifying experience of my life. My dad owns a lot of land in a rural area outside the city. On that property, we have several farmhouses and a couple of cabins. At one point, my dad decided to sell one of those cabins, a two-story, modern wooden cabin. Unlike most cabins, it's fully furnished and well-equipped with everything you need. I spent a lot of my childhood in that cabin, so before it was sold, I wanted to visit it one last time to relive some memories. I asked my family if they'd like to join me, but everyone was busy, so I decided to go alone with my dog, Jack. When we arrived, I parked the car and opened the cabin door. Everything seemed normal. We explored the property, walking through the snow that blanketed the ground from a recent storm. As evening approached, I snacked on some chips and enjoyed a cup of coffee. Around 6 p.m., I went through the cabin, locking all the windows and doors before settling in to watch a movie. Over the years, my family and I had built a decent movie collection in that cabin. The cozy atmosphere made me sleepy, so I checked the locks once more, then headed to the first floor, where two beds were set up for sleeping. I quickly fell asleep, but was jolted awake by Jack. He was standing in a defensive stance, his hair bristling, eyes fixed on the staircase, growling. I wasn't sure what he'd sensed, but his behavior made my heart race. Jack kept growling, and though I couldn't see anything, it was clear he felt a presence. I tried to calm him down and coaxed him back to bed, but then he started gesturing to go outside. Reluctantly, I grabbed his leash, opened the cabin door, and took him outside. He pulled on his leash, leading me toward the woods. Once Jack relieved himself, he didn't want to go back inside. I thought he might have caught the scent of a deer or some other animal, so I followed him. Finally, he stopped near a cluster of trees, barking furiously at something high up in the branches. I shone my flashlight in the direction of his barking and froze. There, high in the tree, was a figure like nothing I had ever seen. It had unnaturally long arms, with sharp, pointed nails. Its body was almost human, but distorted. The creature's bald head gleamed, and its eyes glowed an eerie red, like smoldering embers. Its legs were long and thin, like something out of a nightmare. The sight of it sent a chill down my spine. I grabbed Jack's leash, yanking him toward the cabin. He must have sensed the danger, too, because he ran alongside me, both of us terrified. Once we reached the cabin, I locked the door behind us and hurried upstairs to the second floor. There was a small balcony and a single glass window, which I quickly covered with a curtain. I crawled into bed, my heart racing, trying to convince myself it was over. About half an hour passed in silence. I was just beginning to relax when I heard footsteps outside, circling the cabin. My heart pounded in my chest. There were no other cabins nearby, and I knew it had to be the thing we saw in the woods. The footsteps stopped, only to be replaced by loud bangs against the walls. The noses started on one side, then moved to the other, as if it was testing the structure for weak points. Jack cowered beside me, trembling. The creature seemed to be trying to get inside. I could hear it pacing around. Then suddenly, the sound of something landing on the roof. Panic gripped me as it moved from one side of the roof to the other, then leapt down onto the balcony. I was paralyzed with fear, realizing that only a thin glass window separated us. The creature began scratching the glass, the nails making a sickening, high-pitched sound. I closed my eyes, reciting Bible verses under my breath. To my relief, the scratching stopped, and after a few minutes, I heard it walking away from the cabin. I stayed awake all night, unable to sleep, my mind racing from the terrifying encounter. As soon as the sun rose, I gathered Jack, and we hurried back to the car. I never returned to that cabin again. A few days later, my dad sold it. Although the cabin itself wasn't haunted, it seemed the area held a darkness we hadn't known about. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button to enjoy more stories just like this one.